This is from a man in real love who says, I'm a member of a number of Facebook groups, and I responded to a post by a young lady, and we began flirting a little bit. She let me know that she lives not terribly far away, and when faced with the idea of actually meeting her, I thought about it and realized that if I did, I might feel obligated to her, and I didn't want that. So I decided to be honest, and I wrote her the following message. He said, quote, I want to talk straight to you. The idea of meeting you in person is enticing, but it also makes me a little nervous. I've spent most of my life believing that I was never going to have a relationship with a woman who truly cared about me. So I settled for girls who are willing to put up with me and have sex with me. And you are exactly the sort of girl that appeals to me for doing exactly that. You're cute, sexually appealing, and empowered, tattooed, unapologetic, and you're interested in me enough to flirt. There was a time when that was all I needed to be willing to sleep with someone. But now I'm trying to live differently. Well, that's pretty brave and open. I'm impressed. He continues in his letter. I don't want to be interested in you just because you have a nice body and a pretty face and you're interested in me. And I'm adoring your letter to her. This is how good relationships can begin, with this kind of honesty. The letter continues. I want to get to know you as a vulnerable, flawed human. And if we ever do meet, I want it to be without expectation, because despite the fact that I know it would likely be really pleasurable and tons of fun, I don't just want to go to bed with you. I'm just not that guy who's willing to settle anymore for great sex with a pretty girl. If you would be interested in us getting to know each other and seeing if we're compatible, that would be great. If that's not what you're interested in, no problem. This is a pretty flawless introduction of who you are to a potential partner. So nice work. This could be in the real love and dating book. He says, she wrote back and she said she would love to get to know me some more. We texted a few times. We had a long conversation. We did some, meaningless chit chat, but I also told her some real stuff about myself. And she told the truth about herself a few times as well, talking about having some issues with addictive behaviors. This is a really good beginning. You're just killing me here so far. You continue. 2 moments in particular stood out. One, while we were talking, I noticed that she was starting to cling, especially when I was honest about flaws. She said that whether we actually started to date, she promised that she will always be there to take my call and support me if I needed to talk. I began to think that maybe she shouldn't make promises she shouldn't keep. Why this might be a bad thing. Why I should probably start distancing myself from her, blah, blah, blah. So I stopped. I remembered the people who love me, and I realized I was just trying to protect myself from getting hurt, and that she couldn't actually hurt me. My pain and my fear had nothing to do with her. And this is a result of doing what we talk about here every week. Finding, trusting, and remembering love. It makes you really stable when you're out in an environment where you're not so sure of yourself, not afraid. You continue, I chose to trust and believe her words, knowing full well that it didn't matter whether or not she actually followed through with her promise. Boy, are you smart. It's better just to trust and see what happens. This is brilliant. She might have been clinging, but you don't really know that this early in the relationship. You've met once. She might really have been trying to be compassionate. So what do? You just keep gathering information with more texts and emails and phone calls and personal visits. You say, I don't need to worry about anything until it becomes obvious that, for example, she can't be wrong, that she always has to be right, or that she can't be honest. And I haven't seen either of these so far. You're still batting 1,000, kid. You're just gathering information. You say, I mentioned real love and that I practice it and that it helped me out a lot. But until she decides she wants to learn more, or we start talking about a committed relationship, all I'm going to do is tell the truth and focus on taking responsibility for my own choices and happiness. So, clearly you're not in a rush and you're not pushing her. Still beautiful. You might so far be the perfect dating partner. You say, I've been feeling really good lately, and even though there are times when I feel empty, it's only because I've forgotten to be peaceful for a moment, and it's nearly effortless to remember that this gift is always here for me and feel full again. No matter the outcome of what meeting this girl will be, I'm going to be happy. If we just remembered that, there would be no pressure to dating. It would be amazing. No matter what happens in a dating situation, you can still be happy if you feel unconditionally loved. So how can it hurt? You conclude, it's been a great learning experience so far, and if it ends tomorrow, then it ends. I'll still get to learn and be flawed and stupid in other ways. I have people who love me, and I always will, no matter what. Anything you suggest or would like to add. Not suggest or add, but comment. Perfect. Your initial interactions with this woman are just delightful. So if there's any suggestion, it's really just keep gathering information like you're doing. You interact, you gather more information, and then you'll kind of get a feel whether she's capable of learning to love or not. But what a delightful start.